I'm Victoria Pearson, but you can call me V, and I am absolutely shattered. Usually, I record my vlogs on a Monday for the following Monday. And as you know, last week I had my vlog about Manchester up. Now, usually when I'm doing a weekly vlog, I may be using 4 or 5 different clips in my vlog. Maybe a little bit of B-roll, maybe a bit of showing you what I'm doing, but mostly it's either me chatting to the camera or me just showing you what I'm doing and talking over it. And so they're quite easy edits. My Manchester video, however, 140 clips for me to go through. And I also had to research a few things as well, because when I was talking to you about like the art and stuff that was there, when we were there, I was asking my friend, like, what is this giant coffee bean pebble thing? And they're going, I don't know. And so I had to then research what they were when I got home and all this sort of stuff. And so the Manchester vlog took me a little while longer. And then when I woke up on the Monday morning last week when it went out, I thought, I can't face doing another vlog. Like, I can't face feeding more content into the machine. I stayed up until midnight doing my Manchester vlog 3 days in a row. It absolutely exhausted me. And then when I watched it through as well, I thought, gosh, my captions are still not 100% accurate. Like, some of them were coloured wrong. And so I woke up and I thought, I can't face it. I can't face feeding the content machine anymore. I even said to my 11-year-old, I don't even know if I'm going to do YouTube anymore. I'm exhausted. I can't handle it anymore. And so he said to me, well, instead of just deleting your account and getting rid of all the work that you have done so far, why don't you just talk to your YouTube friends instead about how tired you're feeling? So I thought I would do that today and tell you how tired I'm feeling. So there is a reason that I get so tired when I'm doing these things. That is because I do have chronic illness, a disability called hypermobility spectrum disorder, and it was massively worsened by a shoulder injury that I had a few years ago. My pain just doesn't seem to have abated since then, and so I suffer from a lot of neck, shoulder and back pain, and also that has then slowed down my walking pace a lot. And so if I'm trying to walk faster, I then get knee, hip and ankle pain as well. Because the connective tissue holding my joints in place is very, very stretchy, that means that sometimes my joints can sort of partially come out and then bash back in again, and that causes quite a lot of pain, especially when I'm walking fast. And of course, as you might have seen if you saw my Manchester video, my friend that I was with is very, very tall. They've got really long legs. They also have ADHD, and so they zoom around, and I had to try and keep up so that I didn't get lost in a city that I do not know. And it was a lot. It was very, very tiring. I, in fact, fell asleep while my friend was talking to me at 9:30 at night. I'd gotten into bed because I was cold, and what felt like seconds later, my friend turned off the light, and I said, oh no, did I fall asleep? Were you talking? And they went, it's fine. I don't think it was fine. So when I do things like drive as well, that causes me quite a lot of pain, but it also causes me quite a lot of fatigue. Really, the most I can drive safely is about 2 hours. My journey to Manchester took me 2 hours and 45 minutes. And although I had a little rest in the middle, I shouldn't really have driven that far. It took me a really long time to recover from having to focus for that long. And my shoulders and neck were quite tense from being sort of quite concentrating in the car. And so, yeah, when I woke up Monday morning, I was just like, I haven't got it in me to do another vlog. And then I thought, that's okay, because I'm partway through one, I can finish one off, because as I said to you at the end of the Manchester vlog, I've got a little cozy, crafty sort of vlog. I'm making something, I'm halfway through making it. However, one of the stages of making this thing is let it dry for 2 to 3 days. And although it's quite small, it's quite spread out. I don't want to give too much away because I want to show you next week. But it's quite spread out, and my kitchen isn't massive. I put it on top of the kitchen cupboards, the wall-mounted cupboards in my kitchen. You can see them behind me when I'm doing my daily videos. And so I put them at the top of that so that it wasn't on the counter getting in everyone's way, but it had plenty of time to dry out. But obviously when I came back from Manchester, I was so tired and so unstable in my joints that I wasn't able to climb up there and get it back down again. I could have asked somebody else to get it down for me, but I wanted to get it down when I was filming, partly so that you could see it coming down, and partly so that it wasn't taking up counter space again whilst I was waiting to film. And I don't like to film with people in the house because firstly, it takes up a lot of the living space. It makes people have to be quiet and tiptoe around me, and it's just not very considerate to film in the house where other people are trying to live. But also, I get a bit self-conscious when I'm filming. I don't mind if my family watch my finished videos, but them seeing me in the pre-edited process of filming them, it makes me self-conscious. I don't know why. And so I haven't wanted to do it while they're around, but I am wise enough to know that climbing up onto the kitchen counter when I already have vertigo and unstable joints and dizziness, probably not the wisest thing to do when I'm in the house on my own. And so that's going to have to wait a little while. I hope it doesn't mind having more than 2 to 3 days of drying time because it's had over a week now. But we shall see. If I climb up there and it's all just a mushy mess, next week's will be a fail video on that. But I'm hoping that it's going to turn out really nice and we can make something together. It's something I've never made before though, so we'll see. That being said, this year I have made lots and lots of things. So I thought that today I would just show you all of the things that I have made so far in 2026, because we're in the 3rd month of 2026 now. It is March, and if I'm mathsing correctly, that means we're about a quarter of the way through the year now. So I thought I would show you all of the different things that I have made this year and talk you through them. I'm really hoping that I have a picture of the little clay calcifer that I made, which I will then put there, because that one has gone off to my daughter's place at university. I made it specifically for her birthday. I wanted to make her a little something. I was going to make her a yarn bowl because she's into crochet and stuff, but she cakes all of her yarn, so she doesn't really need a yarn bowl, but she said she wanted a little bowl to put her keys in. She wanted calcifer from Howl's Moving Castle. This is what calcifer is supposed to look like, by the way. My one looks a little bit cursed, but every time I have popped round to see her or pick her up since I gave it to her, it is out on her bedroom side where she puts her keys. So maybe she doesn't hate it, maybe she likes it, even if it does look a little bit cursed. But that's my calcifer. And the next thing that I made was entirely with my daughter's help, actually. And I have showed this to you guys already. I think I've shown you the calcifer already as well, actually. But I made this little crocheted wombat, which kind of looks like a potato or a bear. I don't know. It's supposed to be a wombat. And that was in memory of my friend Michael Wombat, who passed away at the end of last year. He had wanted to learn to knit. I already know how to knit. So I said to my daughter that I'd teach her how to knit, but she's to teach me how to crochet. We're doing that on his behalf, sort of thing. And so I made a little wombat out of crochet. The only way I managed to make this and have it look passable was because my daughter was sitting next to me the whole time going, no, stick the hook in that hole. No, not that one. You've done that one. The next one. Yeah, wrap it round. Pull it through for every stitch. And then she would check each row and say, well, I don't know how you've got 7 extra stitches, but I can fix that for you. And so without her support, I would never have been able to make it. I can't remember how to do a crochet stitch. I've done a couple of little squares of crochet since, because I started a blanket that I was going to do with tiny squares. Then I changed my mind about how I was doing that. We'll come to that in a second. I did manage to crochet a couple of squares, but I have since forgotten how to do it. I don't think I can crochet independently yet. Or I don't know if I ever will. But Yarncraft has been a big theme for me this year. I have got another thing that I'm working on with clay at the moment, but it's not at a stage where I can show you. I might show you that in a couple of weeks' time. It's a little gift that I'm making for somebody. But as an extra gift for them, because I was sure that the clay wouldn't be ready in time for their birthday, and it's not. And hopefully I've seen her by now and I've given them to her. I made these little hand warmer gloves for my friend. I will try and squeeze my hand in there, but it's a little bit small for me because her hands are a bit smaller than mine. I used my 11-year-old as a model, but they work quite well. These are in my friend's favourite colour. I've done them in just plain garter stitch, which was really easy. And actually, if you can only just crochet or knit squares or rectangles, that is a great first wearable project for you, and I'll show you how it's done, because I also have this little square here that I think I also knitted this year, because that was going to be part of a blanket. Again, I'll come to that in a minute. This is no longer going to be part of a blanket. I'm probably going to make these into hand warmer gloves as well. But so what you do is you get your square like that and you just fold it in half. I like to use the tails to sew my ends together, because then there's no extra sewing, and you can do that with a crochet hook if you haven't got an embroidery needle. And all you need to do is sew along that edge and just leave a little gap for your thumb. So you can measure it on yourself as you go so that you can work out sort of roughly where your thumb has to go. But it can be quite rough and you can just tack it together and keep sort of pinning it until you've got it in the right place and then sew it together. And super easy, very stretchy, very easy to do. And they will look identical as long as you do the same amount of stitches and rows for each one. And you'll end up with a nice little pair of gloves. So I did those as a little gift for my friend. And then I am giving her a clay thing as well. Then came the big project that I've done this year. And to be honest, I'm very, very surprised that I managed to finish this. Because as I say, I started knitting these squares because I had this idea that I wanted to do a patchwork blanket. Then I got myself some yarn. It's called Lion Brand Mandala Thick and Quick. And it was absolutely beautiful. And it knitted up so nicely in the colour bands that it was in that I wanted to do it in a longer sort of rectangle rather than a square so that I could get the full colour ombre going on, which I did. And then I had to buy lots of new yarn to go with it because the thickness of this thing is so much heavier than this one. You can see the difference, right? Without even having to feel it. This is really big and chunky and heavy, and this is more little and delicate. It's not the smallest yarn I've ever worked on. It is quite chunky still, but it is little and delicate compared to this blanket. This blanket is weighty. But when you see, look at the gradients on there. I had to use that as it was. It was too pretty not to. And so then I had to get a bunch more yarn and do a load more stripes for it. And in a second, I'm going to stand up on a swivelly chair because I'm sensible like that. I'm going to stand up and do that whole social media unfold thing so that you can see the full blanket. I'm very pleased with myself that I managed to finish this before next winter, actually. The fact that I managed to finish it in mid-February when I started in the new year is impressive for me. I don't think I've done a project that quickly for a really, really long time. So I'm not sure if it came out as wide as it could have done because this is how wide it is. So it's wide enough to sort of cover me up. But when you're sort of laying down and you want a blanket over you, it is a little bit annoyingly narrow. However, I did it so long that you can just sort of fold it in half and pull the other half up on you. And it works really, really well. My husband said it looks like a scarf for a giant, but you would have to have some neck strength to be able to hold that round your neck because it is so weighty. It is like a weighted blanket, which is nice for me. But when you do wear it around your neck like that, it can kind of cover your entire body and it's really, really snuggly and cozy. And so I'm quite pleased with it. My friend Nell said that it looks like the gay man's flag, but the aim was that it would look like the sea. This is too big to show you, I think, but I will try my best. Are you ready? I don't know how they do this on the socials. God, it's heavy. You ready? It's too big to show you in full. It just keeps going. So yeah, the idea when I did it was that it was supposed to look like the sea. I'm not sure that really came across. But it's so big and snuggly and comfy. Maybe if I do it like this. Ta-da! Isn't it the biggest, comfiest and snuggliest blanket you've ever seen? I can just wrap myself up completely and this is perfect for sitting there with your hands wrapped around a nice steamy bug. So my next yarn craft project, and my yarn should be arriving for it this evening, is a jumper. I've never done a jumper before. I've never done the shaping that's required because I'm not doing sort of a straight neck jumper, which you could in theory do with just squares and rectangles. I'm actually doing a V-neck jumper, or I'm going to attempt to do a V-neck jumper. I've never done anything like that on my own before. Never actually done that under supervision before. I need my grandma here to help me out, really. But I'm going to give it a go. If it works, you will know about it because I'll be wearing it. Because I did not put all this time and effort into something to not wear it. That being said, I'm not feeling very, very confident that I'm going to be able to do it at the moment because I already started this project. I bought some yarn, I got going, I started doing decreases and my yarn just kept snapping every 2 minutes. And now I've just got lots and lots of bits of yarn. And yeah, that is because I chose this sort of chunky chenille furry type of yarn that just is too weak to handle doing a decrease. As soon as you pull it, it just goes. And at one point my entire project snapped in half. And I'm not somebody that's known for being too tight with my tension on my knitting. My grandma would always say to me that I knit too loose. So I know it wasn't a me problem, it was definitely a this yarn problem. But then I researched a bit further, and although it feels so soft, it's just not suitable for a jumper. That kind of yarn is meant for making, well, things like this, I think. And this kind of yarn is more for jumpers. And so I ordered some new yarn. Thankfully, it wasn't too expensive. And hopefully I'll be able to come up with a project that doesn't involve decreases and things for that chenille yarn, so that I haven't just wasted 30 quid on yarn. But hopefully I'll be able to start my project again tonight, and I'm hoping it'll be a lot easier, because frogging a project 6 times is frustrating. I also have a clay project planned that I'm going to show you in a couple of weeks if it comes out right, and my other art project that is on top of my kitchen counter, I'm going to show you that as well. Burnout and exhaustion aside, I am still going to be here on Monday for my next vlog. I don't know if it'll be an artsy one, a witchy one, or what yet. I have got a few ideas. I just didn't really have the energy to do them this week. And so hopefully next week we'll do another artsy one, and this time we'll actually make something and I can show you how to make it at home, if I can get up on my counter and get it down again. That being said, I'm not going to give up on doing my Monday vlogs anytime soon, although it is a lot of work to do every single week, and it is tiring me out. And so for that reason, I might wind down my Witchy Wednesdays over the next few weeks, or at least take a little break from them, because I like to wear the same outfit and set up my shot in exactly the same way each time. And so it takes a lot of prep to do it for just a 1-minute read. And it's taking a big chunk out of my week, and I'm struggling a lot at the moment with my energy levels. And so I'm trying to take things off my plate that don't need to be on there. Not many of you watch the Witchy Wednesdays anyway, so I might put them on a little hiatus for a little while. Might well come back to them maybe in the autumn time, but I feel like I need a bit more rest this summer, especially when I'm planning on doing a little bit more traveling and a few more sort of days out and things like that do tire me out a little bit more. And so I want to sort of keep my time for those long films. I will still always be here in the morning doing my big deep breath, letting you know what I'm grateful for, sometimes letting you know that my yarn snapped 6 times during a project and made me cry. But yeah, I am not sure going forward whether I'm going to continue doing my Witchy Wednesdays, because waking up and feeling that sort of burnt out by it and feeling like I just can't keep creating right now is probably because I post every single day and twice on Mondays and Wednesdays. That is a lot. It is a heavy schedule. And when I do my Witchy Wednesdays as well, if you look through it, they all look the same. Yeah, that's to make it more instantly recognizable as me. But also, it's a lot to have to, do my nails the same each time, set everything up the same each time. I've got to make sure my hair's looking the same each time. I've got the same jewelry on, all that sort of stuff. And those earrings are quite heavy, actually. And so just setting up the shot for a 1-minute video is a lot. And then I find tarot reading quite tiring anyway. I think it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of focus. And then not many of you watch them. And so I think I'll do it for the next 3, maybe 4 weeks. But I think after that, I'm going to have a little hiatus on the Witchy Wednesdays, at least until autumn sort of time. So I can have a little bit of a rest. And also because over the summer, I'm planning on taking you to lots more places, like the Manchester one. We're going to go to Hamburg. We're going to go to maybe Swindon. We're going to go to a few different places in the UK and have a few days out. And that is going to be tiring me out. So I need to take something off my plate. And I think the Witchy Wednesdays are probably the one to come off for now. But yeah, that is why we just had a little chatty vlog today. And I showed you some of the things that I made, because I was just too tired to do anything else. That being said, I'm starting to feel a lot more physically recovered now. I'm starting to feel less mentally tired. It did take me a good week to recover fully from going up to Manchester. which is frustrating because there was a time when that wouldn't have tired me out at all. It was, as I say, it was under 3 hours drive. I spent the night so that I wouldn't have to do a 6 hour drive in one day. And we did do quite a bit of walking quite fast. But there was a time not too long ago when none of that would have been a problem for me, that I would have been able to do that and then go for a walk the next day. And it's frustrating that I can't quite keep up with what my brain thinks that I should be able to keep up with. And if I've got any other chronically ill people watching this who have got some magic tip to make things like that less exhausting for me, please throw all your have you trieds at me. I mean, I've probably done like yoga and stuff, but throw it in there anyway. I am open to suggestions. I know that it is considered very rude to say to a person who is chronically ill or disabled, have you tried this thing? But I am currently in a space where I am receptive to hearing, have you tried? Just in case I haven't. Because at this point, I will try anything. So join me on Monday for my next vlog, which hopefully will be a little bit more exciting and dynamic than this one, which is just me complaining about being tired, really. But I'm hoping that I will be showing you an art project. If not, I will take you somewhere quite simple, probably. I will also be here every single morning in your shorts, still taking a great big deep breath and letting you know what I'm grateful for, or letting you know when my yarn keeps snapping and it's just frustrating the heck out of me and I've had to frog a project 6 times. But either way, we'll take a great big deep breath together, and for the next couple of weeks I will also do a Witchy Wednesday for you as well, but I think I'm going to wind those down. I will still have my tarot card readings open on my Ko-fi though. I prefer to do a personal reading so we can get down and drill into it, and I do short and long form readings on there, so you can pick what suits your budget and your situation for the best. So like and subscribe, or don't, I'm not your mum. But either way, you have yourself a magical week.